Hi everyone and welcome back. So today's video is going to be a kitchen tour, and I thought that before I got in the kitchen and started showing you around, I would just sit and film a little bit of an intro to talk you through kind of a little bit of history about our kitchen. I am currently 37 weeks pregnant, so I am getting very short of breath. Not really because baby's like pushing up anymore, just because I seem to be short of breath all of the time. Obviously I'm carrying around quite a lot of weight on my front and it's obviously taken its toll, but I wanted to get this film for you because it's been in the making for a while. So when we moved into this house, we bought the house 3 years ago and it was very dated. We did so much work when we first moved in, like stripping it back to having to change the plumbing, the electrics, all of the floor, like under the floorboards, all needed rebuilding. There was a lot of work to be done, and the kitchen was one thing that we wanted to get sorted straight away. The kitchen that was here when we moved in was very dated, and it was usable, but it was just not nice whatsoever. And we actually managed to get a really good deal on a FAQS kitchen. It had a dark oak worktop and then cream cupboard doors, and we fitted that pretty much straight away when we moved in. We also notched through the room at the back, so put another room on the back of it, which I will talk you through and it'll make sense when we get in there. I have found a picture online of what the kitchen actually used to look like when we bought the house, and I think it's really interesting to see the change from that to the FAQS kitchen that we bought to how it is now. The reason we have changed it again, I know 2 kitchens in 3 years seems ridiculous, but it was the one room in the house really that I just wasn't happy with, and my tastes have changed so much over the past couple of years, and the rest of the house kind of like flows together and all kind of merges together. Down here it's a little bit industrial, and then upstairs it's kind of very greys and white, and everything kind of mixes together, and the kitchen stuck out like a sore thumb. Basically we wanted to see if there were any slight changes that we could make that would kind of revamp the kitchen, and we did that. So we basically, rather than going for like a whole new kitchen, I'll talk you through it when we get in there, but we changed the worktops. Evie is currently, I've put the other 2 on her bed. We have 3 dogs. She normally just stays put, but she's going for a little roam around. So I'm sorry if you can hear her in the background. But we changed the worktops. We painted Evie. Oh, this is our oldest puppy. Hey, our first little child. So we basically painted the, you just sit there for a little while. We painted the cupboard doors, we changed the worktops, and we changed the colours of the oven doors, and then tiled, gave it a fresh look of paint, and we have a whole new kitchen. I'm so happy with what it looks like now. It kind of has all come together exactly how I wanted it to, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. So before I just carry on waffling and this dog makes any more noise, let's just get in there and I'll show you around. So we are now stood at the entrance of the kitchen, and this is kind of like the general overview of the room. As you are stood in the doorway, you'll have to excuse the fridge. It's like any other fridge, it's a little bit noisy from time to time. So if that's kind of in the background throughout this video, then I apologise. I'm going to try and include some pictures where I can of what this room looked like before. So basically you'll be able to see in here, we retiled the floor. This used to be a dark wooden brown floor, and we've gone for these tiles which were from Tops Tiles. We used to have cream cupboards in here, but they are now white. We basically got someone to spray paint them, and they have like a painting studio. It's actually someone that Tom knows through the gym, and they did repainted all of the kitchen cupboards for us. And we also went for those kind of like brick style tiles for the wall. I wanted something that was quite long and thin, but if you see when I get more up close, they've got a little bit of a groove to them, so they're not kind of flush straight against the wall, which I really like. And yeah, this is kind of what you see from when you go in. That room at the back there is another living room that we use more in the summer because it's got like big double doors that open out into the garden. So that's what that door follows onto. But when we actually moved in, that door wasn't there. We actually built through. So there used to be an outhouse attached to the back of this house, which needed to be brought down, and that's what building regulations said, because it was basically falling down and crumbling. It was an old Victorian like shed and outside toilet. So those came down, and we built that room at the back of the house, and we popped this door in, so it goes all the way through, and there's also a downstairs bathroom or toilet and sink at the end of the house too. So that gives you a little bit more of an idea. So over here you'll be able to see we have the stable door, so the top opens and the bottom stays closed if you want it to, which is really nice in the summer because it lets us get a little bit of air in. Also for cooking, means we can have the air coming in the kitchen, but we're not worried about the dogs coming in and out. It was also really handy when we were having work done on the garden because it meant that we didn't have to, we could pass the breeze out to the builders as they were doing the work. Over here we have the sink, microwave, coffee machine, and all those like bits and pieces, the window obviously, things like that. And over here we obviously have the cooker, toaster, kettle, bread bin. So this cooker is actually a Range Master, and we bought the cream one to start off with, but when we decided that we wanted a much kind of grayer and whiter kitchen, we decided that obviously that wasn't going to fit in. So what we did was we went on eBay and we found some new Range Master doors in black and replaced the doors. So the 4 doors on the front of the oven used to be cream, they are now black. So that's another change that we made. Standing at the other end of the room then, we have the fridge in the corner to the left of where I stood before, and we also put in this really old style radiator. The fridge is a Swan fridge and it does the job. It's a blue one, obviously. We had this when the kitchen was cream, something that we've kept. I quite like the kind of how it just stands out with everything else basically. Anything that I can't link down below I will for you so you can go and have a little gander. Up at the top we have a shelf from eBay. On here I have a plant on top of a little date night cookbook that was a present, a little cafetiere and a coffee print which I love, and that's from Desenio. And then over on this side we have the clock in the middle of the room over the door leading out from the kitchen into the dining room, and this actually says at the bottom of it, I don't think you'll be able to pick it up, but it says precious time, and that was from made.com I believe. And then on the left we have one of those boards that everybody has, I know, it's a gold framed kind of letterboard. So over in this corner is where we keep our chopping boards, our salt and pepper pots. I've got little bits of pasta in that copper pot at the back there, and then we also keep our cooking sauces and our kind of utensils over on this side too. As you can see there, that little pot that everything is stored in is from Next, quite recently to be honest. It might still be available. I did feature in a haul quite recently. The tiles also were from Tops Tiles, and they are, you get a box of mixed tiles basically, and our tiler was very committed and he's done an amazing job, and his eyes went funny when he was putting them on the wall, but I just told him to put them up there randomly, and it's a real statement. I'm aware that there are 3 different tiles in this room, but I like how they all kind of complement each other and they just break the room up a little bit, and it's just a nicer splashback than like a piece of plastic. And beforehand our tiles only went halfway up the wall and then it was painted all the way up to the top. I just think it makes everything look a lot more expensive and finished having the tiles go all the way up to the ceiling, which they do. Over on this side of the room then we have our toaster, kettle, tea, sugar and coffee canisters, and a bread bin. The bread bin was from HomeSense. The toaster and kettle are by Tower. They are black with little accents of copper and rose gold. The tea and sugar and coffee canisters are one of my favourite ever purchases. They have beveled glass, and then the tops of the lids have a little bit of something to them as well. And they weren't very expensive, and I just think they're like a real nice statement, and I like that they're all different sizes. And then the kettle there as well, and that little tea bag holder is a little elephant, which is actually from Primark Home, quite recently as well. So if you watch my vlogs, you'll probably be aware of this corner of the room. We have the microwave over here, which is a Samsung one. It was from Amazon, and I have a little reed diffuser on there from Sainsbury's. I just like it. I think it like adds a little bit of a homely touch, but also it smells nice. And we have our coffee machine, which is the Nespresso Creatista, and it's the chrome one, so it's completely all silver. And this is really Thomas's baby. I don't really drink coffee, especially at the moment with being pregnant, but he absolutely loves this, and we got a really good deal on Very for it. And then next to that we have a little coffee pot which has the little pods that go in the coffee machine, and that was from HomeSense as well. So I've just quickly made this picture quite a lot darker so that you can pick up the blind in here. It's quite overexposed because it's so bright outside still, but as you can see, it's just got little sausage dogs on, and it's kind of like a mustardy yellow colour. Bringing you in a little bit closer over here, I have a plant on the windowsill. They just make me happy. I feel like they're really homely. This one is a little bit scatty. It's a new one because my old one died, but I do quite like it. That little jar next to it houses our dishwasher tablets, and then I have this little napkin tray from IKEA, and in here I have my hand soap, the washing up liquid, a little scrubbing brush, any sponges that we use, and also the kitchen plug, the sink plug is in there too. And then that little sheep that you see there, it is holding the kitchen roll. I absolutely love this. It's one of my favourite things in this kitchen. I just think it's so cute, and that was from Next. Moving further over, I have another plant. This is in kind of like a silver pot from IKEA, which you can't really see because it's so overgrown. I think it needs trimming, to be honest. And then I'm surprised it's still alive. And then I also have a couple of vases. The grey one at the back was from IKEA. It was a set of 2. I have the other one upstairs. It's a bit fatter, filled with fairy lights in one of the bedrooms upstairs. And then that vase was a really old one, and I think it was from Truva. It's just one that I sourced online. You probably find a lot like it these days on Etsy. Next to the window and between the door, I have this hanging rail, which they do sell them on in IKEA, but they were not short enough for the wall space that I needed it for. It came with little brass brackets. You can change, there's like different kind of coppers and stuff that you can choose yourself. As I said, it was from Etsy, and then I bought the hanging hooks from the same company. Over here, obviously, we have our kitchen sink, and oh, actually, that's something that hasn't changed. That we had the Belfast sink in the last kitchen as well. I absolutely love a Belfast sink. I just think there's something so lovely and traditional about them, and they're very, very durable as well. On the left-hand side is our dishwasher, and then that little tray that's on the top there that you can see is a really, really nifty gadget from Amazon. I think it's a Joseph and Joseph one, and basically it's double-sided, so you can, it basically is a sink drainer. So we don't have it there all the time, but I've left it there for the sake of this video so I could tell you all about it. But basically it just means that if we do wash any pots, the water runs down because we don't have one built into the worktops like a lot of people do. So it's just really handy. It means the water just runs into the sink. So the worktops in this kitchen were once a very dark wooden brown, and they were oak worktops. Do not worry, they didn't go to waste. We have them all as shelves in the garage, and some of our friends have taken them off our hands too. But we knew for a while that we wanted to replace them with kind of like this grey and white marble effect worktop. Now obviously true marble is very, very expensive. This is a laminate, and I will find it in my emails what company we got this from, but they clean up beautifully. They have been so, so good. Obviously we don't put like hot pans on there or chop anything straight on the worktop. I wouldn't with any worktop, but they have just been a really, really good buy. So that essentially is our kitchen. You can see there by the step going out of the kitchen door to the back garden is a blue tile that's a little bit different to the tile that is on the floor. Obviously, they are the tiles that we actually have in the utility room and the hallway, and they were there before we changed this floor. So when the floor was still wooden, we got that put there as kind of like a bit of a step, because that was just concrete before and it was a bit of a dead area. But I do quite like that it breaks it up, and the door on the other side, that stable door, is duck egg blue, so it matches quite nicely as you're coming into the house. That dog bowl, yes, is copper. It's from Pets at Home. Wasn't intentional. I've had that for a while before we got the kitchen done again. And our bin is a 50 litre from Brabrantia, and this was a real bugbear. I really did not want to spend so much money on a kitchen bin, because I just thought it was absolutely ludicrous. But to be honest, it's been one of the best buys because it's just incredible. The amount of stuff that it fits in, it was really, really worth it. I just really wanted this video to be more about the renovation and what we've done in the kitchen and how we've changed bits and pieces, rather than showing you what's in the kitchen cupboards, which, to be honest, isn't very exciting anyway. So I really, really hope you've enjoyed this, but I am so happy with how it's turned out in here. I absolutely love being in here and cooking and baking and keeping it clean. It's one of my most favourite rooms in the house, and I hope you all feel the same. So I am going to love you and leave you. Please do subscribe if you enjoyed this. I will see you all very soon with my next video. Thank you for watching.